about here? Sir, what about here? And we're the face this way. Jam, line up, jam against the wall here. Got quite a crowd here. Let's jam in. Block the door. Come closer. Come closer. This way. This way. Let's see. You guys come over here. Don't stand right over here in this corner. Shoot me anyway. There we go. The rest of you're good there. You're good there. All right, very good. And you guys just kind of crowd in as best you can over here. Try to avoid the staircase. The pizza man will knock you down. Oh, come closer. Come closer. You get the glare in your eye. Come on in. Block the hall. We block this hall all the time. Come on in. We do all the time. Oh, well, you guys are happy. I'm happy. All right, so this doorway behind me, you know where we're stopping here. It's not a very exciting door, so you can't see it. You don't really see anything. But every now and then, not every night, once in a while here at the hotel, one of our guests, one of our staff members, they say there's a woman in front of the door here. And they describe her as this middle-aged woman, kind of slightly built, has this old-fashioned dress on. And in front of her, she has her handbag, and she seems pretty upset, and she's bossing me in his bag. So she's standing in front of the door, she's got a big around, shaking her head. People, they see her, and they want to help her, and they ask her, ma'am, can I help you? She looks up, she says, no, thank you. I'm just trying to find my keys. And turns back towards the door and disappears right through it. And that's Miss Theodora. Miss Theodora was an employee of the Baker Hospital back in the 30s, and over here, and this is 419, it was her room. And right above her head is 502. 502 is one of the penthouse suites nowadays, but back then, it was Norman Baker's private apartment. So I think she was somebody pretty important that he trusted here at the hospital because she lived right below him. And by this time in his career, you guys, it's starting to heat up for him a little bit because, as you can imagine, after 9 years at the medicine show, he's got a number of dissatisfied customers, okay? There's some dead people. But if you look at the doorway here, a couple things about it. No number, no doorknob, no hardware. This door is all sealed off nowadays. It is not because they're ever locked up in there. It's because this was 419 in the old days. It was just one little room all by itself. Today you get to 419, you go around the corner, there's another door. They used to go to a separate room, but for many, many years, we've combined these two rooms into one large two-room suite. We use this door as part of the bedroom wall. And this new door was her door in the old days, so when she's seen in the building, this is where she's seen. She's trying to go, hey guys, hurry up, come on through. Come on through, how's it going? Take your time, no hurry. But like I said, so some door, she's seen trying to get her old room up here, but that's a pretty rare event. How are you, sir? It's a pretty rare event that happens very often, but a lot more often we get folks that come to stay in 419. It's very popular. Anybody in 419 tonight by any chance? Nobody? Okay. It's a very popular room, as are all the hall rooms in the hotel. And a lot of folks stay in there on purpose. They would have an encounter with the ghost. And some of them talk about experiences that they have with Miss Theodora. In my experience, I mean, one of two things will happen. She will either clean up after you or try to kick you out. Okay? So the cleanup thing is more common. Folks talk about coming back from shopping downtown or whatever. They go in the room there, kick off their shoes, dump out their pockets on top of the dresser. Maybe they have shopping bags and drop them on the floor. Then when they get in the shower, just throw the clothes in the bag and drop in the shower. Well, when they come out of the shower, go back in the room, they find their shoes have been lined up in front of the bed in this nice little row. The stuff on the dresser is all arranged and organized. Even their change, they say they find their coins stacked by denomination on top of the dresser. Their shopping bags in the closet, clothes in the bed are folded. We've had guests call the front desk because they're upset. They're like, hey, I was in the shower when your maid came in. What about my privacy? And I said, well, our maid left at 4, but thanks anyway. Hang up. That's just Miss Theodora trying to help out her guests. The guests she likes, okay? Some guests not so much. We've had some different reports over the years of her other behavior from guests not quite as friendly. We take guys about a wedding couple. We get a whole lot of weddings at the hotel. This couple came to get married. It's been a few years ago, but they came to get married. So the wedding was going to be the next day. So they check in at 419 for the night. They unpack their bags. They hang their wedding clothes up in the closet. Settle them for the evening. Well, it's a wedding. They haven't been nervous about it. They got a bit of an argument. Got kind of, ugly and out of hand. It got so bad that they actually considered calling off the wedding. But before they made that big decision, they agreed to split up for a couple hours and calm down and talk about it later. So they separate for a couple hours, calm down, meet up at the bar, have a couple of drinky poos, they fall back in love, get back to the room, and they, put the key in the door, works great. Turn the knob, works just fine. But when they go to open the door, though, they can't. It's like something blocking the door. So they push really hard, get it open on the way, and they find what was blocking the door was their own bags, not packed and behind the door. But not everything is packed, though. The wedding clothes are no longer in the closet. They're now in a pile in the middle of the floor.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I think she went too keen on the wedding. Might have been the shouting, or it could be old-fashioned gal. She might have been upset. They were shacking up the night before the wedding. That might have hurt her feelings. But they did stay and they got married. But we still haven't gotten a postcard. We don't know how it turned out. Hopefully they're okay. It's been a long time. Hopefully they're still together. But so if you see Miss Theodora out in the hallway, she's really pretty nice. If you stay in her room, just try to behave, okay? Don't fight. She really hates that. Let's go through 4 minutes quiet. Come on down. Come on down. You guys come on in here. I want to make sure just block the hole. It's all right. We do it all the time. Who's hiding back there? There he is. All right. It's the Royals fan. It's a Kansas City Royals fan right there. Yeah. How are they doing this year, by the way?
Horrible.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear. Everybody, how's it going? Okay, so we're stopping here because of Mr. Baker's hospital. We're going to talk about that for a few minutes. This is kind of an important part of the hotel for that. So Baker, when he gets here in 937, the place has been closed for like 3 years, so it's a bit of a mess. He gets a great bargain. He pays for the entire building, and the 27 acres it sits on, he pays $40,000. Yeah, he spends $50K more to turn this into his third hospital. So by now, it's been just like 9 years, and he's got a way of doing things. So down the hall back here behind me, that area down there is called the Annex. It's an extra part of the building. And during the School for Girls Days, that's where they had the music department. They had a bunch of little rooms for practicing music back there, some soundproofing. So Norman gets here, he goes back there, he blocks out the windows, puts a chair in the bed in each room, and here he builds a steel reinforced door for soundproofing. And he calls that place, he says it out loud, he calls that place the asylum. Now, so we probably call it the psych ward, something like that today. But back in the 30s, though, you got to remember, asylum was not quite today it's kind of an edgy word, but back then it was more of a common term, so they weren't too freaked out by it. But it was not built for mental health, and I'll tell you about that in a moment. Let's talk about the cure for cancer, the way he did things around here. There were two parts for the cure for cancer. The most important part, of course, was the medicine, which he perfected. And he called that secret formula number 5. And the other part of the cure was mental therapeutics. He was going to train you in the methods of mental therapeutics. Train you to use your mind to remove disease, overcome your pain, interfere with your mind. Think yourself well. Think yourself well. Which is not really bad medicine, but, just his old magic show, really. Back to the medicine, though, formula number 5, the cure for cancer. I'm now going to reveal to you the ingredients for the cure for cancer. Ground watermelon seed, corn silk, water, glycerin, peppermint oil, clover, a little alcohol, and a dash of carbolic acid. They would cook this stuff up behind closed doors, filter it, distill it. What they do with it then, they draw it in syringes, and they would inject it into the people here. They would inject it into their bodies. They said it was an intramuscular injection that would dissolve the tumor. Didn't do that. That's what they said it did. Now, Norman himself was not doing the injecting at this point in his career. He was a little more hands-on than he should have been, though, in his first hospital there in Muscatine, and he got in trouble. The state of Iowa charged him with a criminal count for practicing medicine without a license. That's why I left Iowa and came down to Reek Springs eventually. So down here, he's the administrator. He presents other men's doctors here, but there are no real doctors. But they had nurses. Now, the nurses, I don't know if they're well paid, true believers, why they do what they do. The other ones doing all the dirty work around here and all the stabbing and jabbing. And some of these poor people that are here, they're getting several shots a day of this stuff, which sounds, painful to me. Well, no doctor, no medicine, like morphine. So if you're in pain here, mental therapeutics. Complain too much about the pain, you get a free trip to the asylum for a few days. You're a bit of a troublemaker. We'll get you out of the way. But the real reason for the asylum is because occasionally he needed somewhere to put people before they died. He had a 6-week guarantee. So most of his patients, 6 weeks of treatment, if they could tolerate the act, could still stand up, look halfway decent, he'd say, hey, Miss Smith, you've been cured with such a hungry pain. You can feel woozy for a few days, it'll pass. But go on home now, you're okay. And they go home and die, which is the way he liked it. Didn't like them dying here. That's really bad for business, But people did die here. Some folks that came here were quite sick. It was their last hope. They'd show up here, they'd begin the treatment, they'd cure pretty quickly. Once they got near death, well, it'd be bad for business if they died for everybody else. So you sneak back to the asylum back here, put them behind closed doors, and tell everybody else, that's Mr. Jones, or he's a very private man. He wants more privacy and quiet. We're taking care of him. He's doing great. You'll see him real soon. Or he would die back, that's what would happen. Now, who's staying on this wing tonight? Anybody up here in this area? Nobody? We're done. Are you done about the middle? Maybe somebody's here. But not every night, but on this hallway and then down that way, but mainly up in this area. Some of our guests, they say they hear this noise, it wakes them up like 3:34 in the morning. And they say it's a loud noise, it goes by their door, it sounds like a squeaky wheel, clattering down the hall on this wooden floor. So they open the door, what's going on this time of night, right? Out here in the hallway, there's a woman, they say, right about here, she's wearing a nursing uniform. In front of her is a gurney, what appears to be a sheet draped body on top of the gurney. She just stares down the hall and pushes down the hall this way, goes all the way down the elevator, the other end down there, and disappears down by the elevator. So we call the nurse. When they describe her, they say you cannot get her attention. She ignores everything around her, just does all she does. So the paranormal investigators call this kind of a ghost, a residual spirit. It's like an echo of energy, if you will, some kind of recording. I'm not really sure how it works. But when they describe what she's doing, though, they're describing a nurse from Baker's Hospital. Because back then, when someone died in the asylum, they want to get them down to the morgue, but the elevator's way down the hall. So it'd be kind of bad for business, pushing dead bodies around during the daytime. So they wait till the middle of the night to move them. That's what I think she's doing here, Dr. Mr. Baker. We're in front of your door, guys. Come on in. Sure, go right ahead. After you, my friends. Well, we're going to leave the nurse behind now, though, and move forward in time about the year 2002. And now the Renix, the new folks have the hotel. It's going great. It's reopened. They're remodeling. They've redone the old asylum back here. Does anybody know what they did with the old asylum? Well, what else? Honeymoon suites, of course. And there's two, but they're very popular too. So 3,500 in the side of the building, very popular room. And are you staying back there?
No, we did.
Oh, you did? Okay, well, hot dog. 3,500?
He's down around the corner.
Oh, that way? And that side? That's the other one. You were that close. But so 3,500 is very popular, and so not too long after it opens up, these people come down from Joplin, Missouri to get married in the hotel, and they have their ceremony, a couple nights, honeymoon suite, and have a nice time, and go home. Well, 3 days later, they call the hotel, and they say, we just got our pictures back from our trip, and we got to show you something. They brought this photo I'm going to share with you guys. This photo was taken by the husband. He was using a film camera back in the old days. He had to wait a few days to get your picture back, so they didn't see they got it back. There's a lady, I'm getting the wrong one. There's a lady in red in the photo. The lady in red is not the ghost. The lady in red is the young bride having a little fashion show for her new husband, not seeing her underwear. So her permission to cover the red screen to use the picture. Now my thumb's going to point the part of the photo that caught their eye. If you look at the TV set, it's an upside down image. Did you see this last time we were here?
Oh, yeah.
They swore the TV was not on. They're enjoying some red wine and Mountain Dew there. I mean, I was telling them, honeymoon.
Oh my goodness.
That's the scary part, isn't it? That's creepy. That's what I like about it. Did Sam and Colby tell you this?
No, I didn't.
Bad. Is it okay? Well, we wanted to get a good look at her, so we made her big and right side up, and here we go. Same lady for a little bigger right side up, and notice the jawline is kind of weird, especially. It's the same photo, bigger and right side up for you. Note the jawline, especially, is kind of odd. Same lady, right side up, bigger. Also, the jawline is a little strange. Over here. Same lady. That's that bigger for you. That's the jaw, especially. Same lady, bigger and same out. Same lady, bigger and better for you. Good job. She's called the Lady in White. And she still appears back there on the honeymoon suite from time to time. We have guests that say they wake up in the middle of the night back there to find this woman at the foot of the bed staring at them.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I know. She disappears pretty quick, okay?
No.
But they also talk about there's a hot tub that comes on by itself back there, and all kinds of weird things, noises, shapes, and shadows. But strangely enough, it's one of our most popular rooms, especially with the young folks, the honeymooners. Is it a thing these days? Haunted honeymoon?
Yes.
Is it one of the hashtag things or something like that? Anyway, so it's real popular for some reason. October's crazy for weddings now.
Yeah.
But anyway, we don't know who she is, but we think she was probably a patient at the hospital. Where she's at, what she's wearing, what's gone here. Now she had surgery, did not happen here. Baker's motto, cancer curable without knife, radium, x-ray, or serum. Just that magic potion, which sadly made him millions of dollars more. All right, guys, we're going downstairs, downstairs to the second floor. Follow me. What's that? Pardon me, sir. Let's see if that's fine. Keep going.
Sure enough.
We need a little bit. Don't go too far away now. Stay close. But yeah, some of y'all come over. I'll be in the middle. Just kind of circle around me if you don't mind, guys. Just kind of crowd around me a little bit. I'm getting a little jiggle on my little machine here, though. Come on down. Come on, a little more, a little closer. Some of y'all come up a little bit further down. So come for everybody. Come on down a little bit further. A little bit further. A little bit further. A little bit further. You guys. All right. There we go. All right. Now we're all pretty close together. Very good. So I'm getting a little something there. It's getting almost to the yellow zone. That's pretty good. All right. So, first of all, everybody get in your mind a little Brecky. Remember the little boy upstairs? Everybody have a little Brecky in mind?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So his full name is Clifton Breckinridge Thompson. And he was the son of the president of the College for Girls here, and his name was Richard Ryan Thompson. He actually married one of the teachers here named Mary Breckinridge. She was a nurse, taught nursing and child welfare and also foreign language here at the school. That's how they met. So they got married in 1913. They had Brecky in 1914, little blonde hair, bundle of joy, and they're very happy. 2 years later, they had a daughter, but she was premature and lived for only about 6 hours. So this is a sad thing, of course. But they still had Brecky, and by all accounts, he was very smart, charming, cute little blonde-headed boy. And as you can well imagine, in school for girls, he was kind of a popular kid. He was kind of a mascot, and all his big sisters, so he had a really great life here at the school for girls, very well loved. And so this is one of the dormitory areas in those days, and he had this little red ball, your favorite thing in the world. You get the girls, and they play in the hallways, the lobby, the garden, all over the building. Just a great big playground with this little boy, great life, right? But it was a short life, unfortunately. He died about a year after that photo upstairs was taken. A little bit past his 4th birthday, he died of an intestinal infection. It was 1918, a lot to handle back in those days. They did surgery, but he died a few days after the surgery. So it was obviously quite devastating for his family, his mother especially. But she wanted to honor his life, so she wrote a memoir. It's called Brecky, His 4 Years. In the memoir, she wrote about having a seance to try to contact him. This may sound a little bizarre to us today. It's not the kind of thing we go in for nowadays, especially for a dead child. But back then, it was kind of popular. I got to remind you guys, at this time in history, radio was brand new, and the unseen airwaves, the magical ether, that talk, perhaps we can talk to the dead. So it's kind of one of those things that they like to mess around with. So they brought in a meeting to the school. A friend of Mary, she came in, did her seance, and said, "Yes, I've talked to Brecky. He's with his little sister. They're together. They're not alone. They're very happy. Don't worry about them." That probably helped them with their grief. I think it also, though, may have left the door of the other side open a crack, because old Brecky hangs around the building still, the School for Girls areas especially. There's one of the areas up here that we hear about him a lot, in the lobby, in the garden, the conservatory, the kitchen, the laundry room. He really gets around. He's one of those popular ghosts in the hotel. But now, who's staying on this floor now? Anybody up in this area? Nobody? Where you guys staying?
First floor.
Where you at?
First floor.
Oh, dang. What, 101 by any chance?
107. Right next to it.
Down there, yeah. But anyway, so Brecky, on this floor, not every night, once in a while, our guests, sometimes they say they hear a thump in the hall, so they open the door, what's going on? And down by that mirror at the end of the hallway down there, this little boy comes walking down the hall this way, and he's bouncing balls. He goes along and says, "It's not fair, it's not fair," as he bounces this ball down the hall. Some of our guests, when they see this kid, they don't necessarily know the Brecky story, and they sometimes think he's a kid, and they'll call the front desk to, alert us to him, and they'll say, "Hey, there's a little boy up here all by himself. It's getting pretty late, and he's really upset. We think he's running away from his parents. What do we do?" I say, "Well, what does he look like?" So he's got blonde hair. He's right there. Oh, wait a minute. He's gone. I guess his folks found him. Oh, yeah, they probably did. Thanks for calling. Anyways, we little Brecky alerts that way. So, 19 years ago, we found the photo upstairs, okay? Now, the lady who found it for us used to work for us, a real smart lady named Rebecca Becker. She's also a very talented painter. 25 years ago, she painted 5 portraits of the hotel ghosts. And she painted these portraits based on people's descriptions of what they saw. It used to be a souvenir thing, but we don't do it anymore, but I've got my little souvenirs here. So I'm going to show you guys her painting of the ghost that we used to call the little boy. I want to remind you, when she painted this, it was 6 years before she found the photo for people's descriptions. So look at this, compare it to that photo, and see what you think. Flashlight. It's pretty remarkable. He looks a little bit older in the painting, I think, which is kind of interesting. And as you can see, she's a very talented painter.
Wow.
She's very good. She's very, very good listener too, probably.
That's crazy.
And I think she really could have been a good police schedule on this too. She wanted to be.
Yes.
Good job. But so it says the little boy down there on the captions. That's what we call it for decades. Those kids like to call him little boy, so we have no idea who he was. But now we know it's Brecky. Yeah, he doesn't glow. I know. That's what I think is really cool about the whole thing. But we know a lot more about him and the whole family and the whole School for Real scene nowadays because of Rebecca's research, and it's pretty interesting stuff actually. Her folks, or his folks, I should say, they got. Okay, I'm getting mixed up. Okay, anyway, his folks got divorced after he died, which is kind of sad. But his dad. Have you guys had Ozarka water? So did you know it was Eureka Springs water for like 60 years? Did y'all know that story right here? It was at the Ozarka Spring down by the train station for many, many years. Well, his dad, when he quit the school, he bought the company and he ran Ozarka water for a while. Now it's down in Texas somewhere. And then any nurses in the crowd tonight? Nurses or doctors by any chance? No? Dang. So Mary was a nurse. She went home to Kentucky, where she's from, after World War I. She opened a clinic up there for birthing babies. Today, it's a college for midwives. It's called the Frontier Nursing College for midwives and nurse practitioners. Really important school for that. She is kind of famous for it. President Carter, in fact, put her on the 77-cent stamp when she passed away to commemorate her work with infant mortality. So there you go, my friends. If you're on Jeopardy and this comes up, Dan goes to her paid off. All right, let's go down to the most popular hotel.
Michael's room.
Yes, we're going. How'd you know?
No, you said most popular.
Yeah. Somebody's in there, or was last night. Sorry.
Again, just kind of surrounded by my friends. I'm going to stand right here by the door. We're just going to gather around. Let's just going to crowd in here a little bit. Crowd around. That's perfect right there. It's going to fall in the door. Michael might get you.
No, I want him to.
Yeah.
All right, so someone hiding behind the wall. Can you see right there? Are you okay back there? Can you see anything? There she is. Okay, very good. So this is 218, okay? And 218 is called Michael's room, and as I mentioned before, it's a very popular room here in the hotel. And Michael's a really popular ghost, and this is the room where I had my own experience. I'm going to tell you guys about in a minute. First about Michael. So he's a young man. His family had come from Ireland. They had just come to the New World about the time the hotel was being built, and they were stonemasons back in the old country. So they got hired by the Reek Improvement Company to build the limestone walls of the hotel. It was a great gig for them. They were pretty happy to have it. Michael was 17 years old, handsome, good-looking young man, strong and fit. He had a big personality. He was very proud of himself. He was always, flirting with all the girls in town, showing off, trying to impress them with his strength and prowess. So one fine day, he's working on the building. He's about 40 feet off the ground up here on this side of the building doing his thing with the rocks. And on the inside, there's posts and beams everywhere, but he's doing his thing. And it's a nice day in Reedy Springs. He looks down the ground of the hotel, and a pretty girl walks by. Well, he can't stand it. He's got to make a fool of himself, show off a bit. So to haul down there, hey, Missy, look up here. She looks up, that gets him going. Hey, I'm Michael, watch this. He starts strutting around top of the wall, showing his pounds. He's grabbing these big giant rocks, came around, show how strong guy is. Well, she wasn't too impressed, apparently. He takes it up a notch. She decides she's going to really impress this girl by doing a little Irish jig, a little dance for her up there. So I was down there, what? They're dancing around. Well, he loses his balance, he falls into the building here, and he hits his head on the beam that became part of room 218, and that's how he died. And so that became Michael's room. And as of last May, he has now been here for more than 140 years. Been here for a long time. We've heard about him for a long time, too. Now, like I said before, most folks, they book the room on purpose when I have an encounter with a ghost, and some of these folks talk about these things that happen in the room with Michael, and there's kind of a common story. There's a balcony off the room that opens, to get you go through these two French doors, and these doors are secured by these two latches. So they talk about being in bed at night, watch TV or whatever, and they hear this click, click of these latches, they look over these doors, and they just swing open into the room. And the lights will flicker, the radio makes some noise, and over here is a chest of drawers that faces this way. And these drawers, they say, will open all by themselves. And that's what I saw happen. It was 6 years ago last January. I was in there with 4 other people on a Saturday night. We were ghost hunting. I'm not kidding. All of a sudden, the upper right-hand drawer just slowly opened right in front of us. Nobody more surprised than I was. You guys, I was still new at this job. And I got to admit that my attitude back then was more along the lines of, I'll play along, but, well, something kind of weird happened. I'm a little more convinced, let me tell you. So, but here's what was going on, though. Even the ghost tour guys, we only get to go in the room once a year. This is during an event that's called ESP Weekend. It's a thing we have in the winter, usually the end of January. It stands for Eureka Springs Paranormal Weekend. So it's sort of a convention type thing. So we bring the investigators, they bring the fancy equipment. If you come to the convention, you get lectures and slideshows, you discuss the ghosts, learn how to use the equipment, and then we ghost hunt. So on that weekend, we don't rent out the haunted rooms, they're open for inspection. So Michael's room is open, Theodore's room is open, the honeymoon suite, Norman's apartment, other rooms, and morgue is all open. So if you come for the convention, you've got your name tag on, you go ghost hunting until 3 o'clock in the morning for 2 nights in a row with the ghost hunters. It's a lot of fun if you like to do that kind of thing. We have a really big time doing it. And the tour guides, they put us in the rooms to keep an eye on things. So, it's my first ESP weekend. I've never done it. It's Saturday night. They put me in Michael's room. Okay, here we go. So I'm there all night long, people are coming and going, and nothing is happening. So it's like 1 o'clock in the morning, and these 4 ladies come in. 3 young ladies, 1 girl, it's her 18th birthday, her 2 little friends, the birthday girl's mother. They come in, it's getting late, they want something to happen. They ask the birthday girl, it should be a good sport, and the clown on the bed, to be in their words, bait for Michael, okay? So she does that now. So she does, and her friends, they get their phones up, they start playing these videos of Irish music, trying to track Michael. We got river dance and some reels, and we're having some fun now. We're laughing, having a good time, dancing around the room. She's on the bed over there, the chest of drawers behind us. All of a sudden she stops laughing, her face kind of drops, she points, we turn around, what? Yeah. That drawer was opening all by itself. Oh my goodness. I'm telling you guys, it was the weirdest thing I've ever seen. And we tried to reproduce it. We closed that drawer, we were banging that dresser and kicking it and stuff on the floor. I still haven't seen it happen again in my own experience all this time, but our guests talk about it with some frequency. The doors and drawers opening and closing, the plumbing in the bathroom comes on up by itself, stuff like that. I would now like to apologize on behalf of the hotel, though, for Michael, because he is not a politically correct ghost. Don't get mad at me, please, okay? He would not do very well in the Me Too era. Our female guests indicate he's still pretty interesting at their attention. They say that the shower, they say that sometimes the hot water will go to cold rather suddenly. And so they'll jump out in their birthday suit and figure that one out. And they also talk about feeling someone stroke their hair, touch them on the cheek, or tickle their feet, okay? But they also say, they quite often say, that's why I booked the room, I want to meet Michael. He's a really popular guy. He's doing pretty good, for a dead guy. Anyway, so before you carry on, right behind your heads, my friend, when you're right by this wall. Come around the corner, mister. Don't miss this. Wait for somebody. Are you in front of your room, man? 2600. Okay, very good. Oh, very good for you. Have a nice time. So, Set your faces stunned. It's not a ghost. Sorry, guys. There's a 4-foot tall electrical panel behind this wall. It's a huge, gigantic fuse box. That's why it's going crazy. If I go over here, it goes down to 0 pretty quick. Every now and then it goes off over here. It's kind of unusual. In my experience anyway, it's happened about 12 times in the past 7 years in this area. I think it's Michael stuff. But so I'm showing you this because when you're using one of these things for ghost hunting, if it goes off in the middle of nowhere, that's a good sign something's going on. If you're near a wall or whatever, there's cables, fuse boxes, you got to be aware there's other things, then, you know, sometimes not always a ghost. But I'm going to use this thing down in the morgue for demonstration. I want you guys to understand how it works. It'll make a little more sense if we get something, and sometimes we do. So let's see what happens down there. Let's go down the stairs right behind this wall, and then we'll try to meet the boss. Pardon me, sir. Very busy, very talented guy. Went down, my friends, Steve, right over here, guys. Try it on that and meet the boss. Y'all met the boss yet? Y'all met the boss yet? Who's the boss here?
He's still asleep.
Oh yeah, well, oh, he's thinking. He's thinking. He's working. This is Jasper. Jasper's the senior manager of the hotel. 19 years now. He's been here for a long time. And he has an intern. Y'all may have seen the intern. That's Ozzy. He's a little sequel. And he's right here somewhere. He's a couple of years old now. A little more than 2 years old now. He may have been promoted to junior manager at this point, but he's the new guy. He's catching on fast though. He does a pretty good job. He didn't sleep quite as often as Jasper here. These are the hotel cast. They run the place. This is their desk. Now this was Norman Baker's desk in the old days. He has a gigantic desk because he had an empire back then, and he had the hospital, the big moneymaker. At this time, he had a radio station down in Mexico. He also had a magazine that he published, and he had a lot of fans. He tell these fans of his, send me money. The American Medical Association is trying to have me assassinated. I bet the cure for cancer, they're trying to kill me. And they'd send him thousands of dollars. One of the scams that he made lots of money on. And he was a really good scammer and a very good showman too. So part of the show, that gallery over there was the office. So you had the desk in the office behind bulletproof glass, Tommy guns on the wall, sacred armed guard dogs, all part of the show. And this poor humanitarian, they're trying to kill me. In reality, just a scam. And he was a smart guy. He really was a smart guy, but it's just sad he didn't use his brains for a little more, a little more ethical pursuits. Jasper? Sorry to bother you. Okay. We have some outside for you guys. We'll do it for you. Let's go down the end of the porch on the right hand side. Go down the end of the porch on the right hand side. Let's head down the end of the porch over on the right hand side, please. Okay. That's right. Not yet. Go down the right hand side of the right
It smells good out here.
way down here. We'll talk to these kids down here. Stay put, don't worry about it. Are y'all going to a ghost tour later? Okay, don't tell a ghost story. I don't want you to.
Okay.
No spoilers. Ooh, it's kind of steamy out here tonight, isn't it? Yeah. So I'm bringing you out here, guys, to tell you a little story from the School for Girls days. And this story, it's one of our oldest stories. We've told it for decades now. And it involves the third floor. There's a room up there called 312. And 312 nowadays, we use for meetings. There's like a table and chairs in there. Back in the School for Girls days, though, it was one of the dorm rooms. And there's a balcony off the room that overlooks back garden here. So the story goes, 1913, about 10:30 at night, and the girls, they hear a scream come from that room. They go see what's going on, and they can't find the girl who lives there. They look for her everywhere. They can't find her. They finally find her. She's down here in the garden below the balcony, and she's dead. She fell off the balcony and broke her neck. That was the scream they heard. They thought it was an accident, tragically an accident. But a few days later, the rumor began to circulate around the school that this girl had become pregnant. Big scandal back in those days for an unmarried young lady like that, especially with these wealthy families that were here. It was a pretty big problem for them. So there was a kind of a scandal. But the school, they were a little worried about it too. They kept trying to keep it quiet. But behind closed doors, they were concerned about what happened to this poor girl. Was there more than an accident here? Was there some foul play? But on the other hand, it was a bit of a can of worms too. They didn't want to really open it up, so they kind of let it go. It all went away when the school closed down. Ever since then, even until today, I've never seen it myself, but our guests talk about it, our staff talks about it. It's an apparition that's called the Girl in the Mist. And if you want to see her, you got to work for it. You got to come out here about 10:30 at night, go on the other side of the yard over there, and look at the balcony. If you see it happen, this young lady kind of materializes in a cloud of mist in the balcony. She approaches the rail. When she gets there, she tumbles over the rail, falls down the garden below. This kind of dissipates. If you look back at the balcony, this dark figure backs away from the rail. So we have that idea of foul play, but we don't know what happened. Now, another photo for you guys. Right above 312 is the bar upstairs, and there's a corner table with a big window that looks out across the fourth floor balcony. And this young man in the photo was at that table one night with his friends a few years ago, having some drinks, a couple of laughs, taking some photos. They caught something pretty cool. I think it might be the Girl in the Mist out there. Can you see it okay?
See it? Yeah.
Can you see it?
Oh, yes.
Sam and Colby didn't show you to see it, did they?
I don't think.
No, they did not. I think it's her in your eyes. He's in that first
Did they take the tour?
No, they were just, they had all their ghost equipment and stuff.
That was their problem, huh?
They did a lot of research, so we don't know.
Good to move.
That's all we know about the Girl in the Mist, unfortunately. In those days, it wouldn't make the yearbook, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of the one to sweep under the rug, so there's not really anything more about her. But it was a good little school if you guys really get curious about it someday and you're in town. Tomorrow, it's closed tomorrow, but we have an historical museum downtown on the south end of Main Street. Neat little museum. You can kill an hour there, get out of the heat. It's a nice little place to learn some more about the city and many of the features here. You guys, we're going to step back inside. Come on in, guys. Okay, my friends, get way over by the fireplace, facing in front of the fireplace, by the couches. Still right in front of the couches.
Can you levitate?
Stay right there. Okay. So guys, try to squeeze in a little more if you can. I was shot too loud. Squeeze on in. Squeeze on in. Squeeze on in. You don't want to. Okay. So we met Jasper, the Hotel Cat. Okay. And we've had a series of Hotel Cats over the years. It all began with that kitty cow wall right above that man's head. That is Morris. He's the original Hotel Cat. He's in a place of honor. He ran the hotel, but he was founded in 1973 by the staff. They were out there by the dumpster one night in the Orange Kitten, and they stuck him in the hotel to keep the secret, of course. He got out though. But he ran that, so he got hired by the owner at that time, took big on Morris, and hired him to be the honorary general manager. And Morris ran the hotel for 21 years. Here for a long time. Very old cat, passed away, very popular cat back in those days. People don't know. You still see in the hotel today. Orange cat runs by. Little kids, and they go, I was petting the kitty. Go, great, we met Jasper. They go, no, the orange one. So when he died, we had a funeral. His grave's out back. You want to see it? Go down the back stairs. He loves his tombstone. But so we had this funeral for him, and it was great. I actually went to the funeral in 1994, right at the fair. Very popular cat. More than 50 people came to the funeral. Now, when you compare that to Norman Baker, when Baker died, he's buried in Muscatine, his hometown. He died, even his own brother would not go to the funeral. 5 people showed up, but he owed them money. True story. The funeral director had to go to the community college up there and hire 6 young men at $5 a piece to carry the casket. It was that bad. He was a really unpopular man when he died. He had his day. At the end, no, not at all. Are they all going on a tour later? I'm sorry? Are they all going on a girls' tour later? Mm-hmm. No, we're not. Okay, well, we're all sold out here. Let's get on the board, guys. Hold it. Just step outside. I'll drink in a moment. We'll get out the board.
Skinny.
Come on outside. Looks like our ride's here.
Fitting.
Fitting. Very pretty.
It is
Going
warm.
green. I'm gonna go back to look at all the footage. I'm go around and take photos in every single mirror. That way, in case there's something that pops up. Got twisted my ankle again.
Yeah, delight.
What?
Delight.
What's that? Oh,
Remember I said you.
oh yeah.
This is when the 80s turned into the 90s.
That's very creepy.
I want to point out the annex one more time. That's the part of the building where the asylum is. That top floor there is where the old asylum used to be. 2 top floors on honeymoon suites. The boarded up windows, that's where the kitchen is nowadays. But originally, when the hotel opened, the kitchen was located here on the bottom floor. They moved upstairs at some point. So when Baker gets here in 937, he puts the makeshift morgue where the old kitchen used to be. Yeah, it's funny, guys. It's got dark. I think they've come to the
Yes.
And that's just Conrad.
Over here. You guys can sit over here with these folks. Who else I got back there? I got the two young friends. Y'all come over here. You sit right over here. I can do it. You'll see why in a minute.
Can't get out.
That's right. I have to get the door because of this. That wasn't too bad. That wasn't too bad. Welcome to the morgue, my friends. Welcome to the morgue. So this is just part of it. There's 2 more rooms beyond that road we'll explore here in a moment. This room we call the intake room. We call it that because back in the day when Baker was here, the elevator did not go to this floor. It stopped on the first floor. So to get these dead bodies down here, they had to cut through the door we just came through. And to get into here, they had to come out the front of the building. So it was one of those nighttime things to do to keep it all in QT. But here's Mr. Baker himself on the wall right over here. A couple of photos of him. Got about 10 photos. Very popular guy at that time. He's like 35, 40 years old, making a ton of money. Had his first hospital opened up there, Muscatine, first radio station on the air, going pretty good. The right-hand photo is out of Mexico at that time, 60 years old, still making a lot of money. But the left-hand photo, there's an inscription. It says, "I'm in this fight to the finish for humanity." And someone's fighting with the American Medical Association, of course. And that began right away when he opened his first hospital down in Muscatine in 1929. This is the Great Depression when he opened this hospital, you guys. Really bad economic times. This is Iowa, a bunch of poor farmers, okay? This hospital of his was pulling down $75,000 a month. It was really good money back in those days. And he had his first radio station in the air too. Then the station was called KT&T, 10,000 watts on the AM dial. And KT&T stood for Know the Naked Truth. He was very bombastic on the air. He was a great showman too. He was very popular on the radio. And he'd be on the air at night talking about the cure for cancer, 100% guarantee. He would get his patients to come on the air with him sometimes, talk about being cured of cancer. And when they died, shortly thereafter, he will still talk about them as if they'd gone home with their families and were all alive and well. So it's just a lot of that's the kitchen poker heads, though. We don't be a lot about the noise you hear in the kitchen. Anyway, but it was a lot of lies, about his cure for cancer, of course. But so the AMA was fighting back, and they finally succeeded in getting kicked off the radio. He lost his broadcast license in 1932, and the state of Iowa charged him with the criminal count of passing him without a license. So what does he do? He runs away to Mexico. Down in Mexico, on the Texas side of the border, he opens a clinic. On the Mexico side of the border, he builds another radio station called XENT. And they called them border blasters back in the old days. These are very powerful stations on the Mexico border, unregulated basically, 100,000 watts on the AM dial. That's so powerful that at nighttime, you could pick it up in Alaska. So you're there at night, play a little music, come with the cure for cancer, 100% guarantee. The AMA, he'd say, the AMA is the Amateur Meat Cutters Association. They're trying to kill me, I get the cure for cancer. I know it's just a lot of BS, but he was a very popular guy. He was very popular on the radio. He really was. But he got homesick. Went back to Iowa. Turned himself in up there, just faced the music, and he spent one whole night in jail. One night in jail, paid a $1,000 fine, practicing without a license, all there was to it. After that, he came to Eureka Springs. He came here because our local banker was a guy named Claude Fuller, a very powerful congressman, and he had a bank in the hotel. It was in receivership. Yeesh. Okay, they're making pizza. You guys okay up there? But but he was trying to get rid of the hotel, because it was the Great Depression. He wanted to get rid of this thing. And, well, it turns out he already knows Norman Baker personally, knows his story, knows he needs somewhere to land. So he's thinking, let's bring Norman Baker to Eureka Springs. We'll show him a good time, make a good deal at the hotel, maybe we'll buy it. People in town are all for it. Yeah, that's that radio doctor with the cure for cancer. We'll get rich. So bring him to town, show him a good time. He buys a hotel. It becomes the third Baker Hospital. On the wall back here behind you guys, that's an original cancer curable hospital sign from the old days.
Wow.
Please note the word curable. Some of us was cured by nature. Yeah. So besides radio, we normally use brochures. And on the back door we came in, some of the brochure. These brochures, we mailed them all over the country through U.S. mail. There were wonderful testimonials and photos of the hospital resort. They were talking picture shows for the patients. They had billiard room for the gentlemen. Great place to be. Hospital and a resort. Well, it's more of a house of pain in reality. People came here pretty sick, pretty desperate. They hear on the radio, they think, what have I got to lose? How about your life savings? He made between $2 and $4 million back then. That's back then money. Today, it'd be like $40 million. Doing pretty good for himself. Now, remember the Calliope music machine? Sometimes here at the hospital, there's some unpleasant noises, moaning and groaning, crying and screaming. Norman didn't like that. Bad for business. So get that Calliope out and play that thing. It's really loud, okay? I've got a YouTube of Calliope. I can play a couple bars for you guys. I can't get it loud enough. I'll give you an idea. But imagine, if you will, that you're a patient here at the hospital. You're lying there in your bed. You've had several injections of formula number 5. You're in some pain. And all of a sudden, you hear this coming down the hall. Be a lot louder. It's not the ice cream man. And he would say, no, it's cheerful and soothing. The Calliope, it's part right there for you here at the Baker Hospital. It cheers the patients up. Cheerful.
It sounds like creepy music in a haunted house.
That's exactly what yes, not on purpose. But so what finally happened, Mr. Baker, though, 2 years in Eureka Springs, and he'd overstayed his welcome. He would sue people to drop a hat, very sue-happy guy. So the banker that brought him here to begin with is pretty sick of him at this point, wants to get rid of him. The banker's brother is the postmaster here in town, so they come up with an idea to get rid of this guy. It's the brochure. It's full of lies. It's being mailed through U.S. mail. So they told the postal inspectors, the congressman pulls some strings, get an investigation going, and well, it's a little bit like getting Al Capone for tax evasion instead of murder. They got Norman Baker for 7 counts of mail fraud. And over here is his photo of his first day of class at Leavenworth Penitentiary. He spent 3 years and 3 months in federal prison, paid a $4,000 fine, got out of jail in 1944, regained his fortune, and retired to a luxury yacht in Miami, where he died in 1958 at the age of 76. Can anyone guess where he died from?
Cancer.
That's correct. Cancer and cirrhosis of the liver. All right, guys, we're going to explore the morgue. Don't get rid of this yet, though. So before we do, in the next room here, we call it the pharmacy. We call it that because 7 years ago, right here on the property of the hotel, our gardener was digging a spot for a compost pile. She began to find these jars and bottles. So we called the University of Arkansas to have a look. They brought the archaeological survey team. In 2019, they did a dig, and they found more than 400 artifacts. Bottles and jars, medicine bottles, stuff like that from the Baker Hospital. I got a couple hundred in the next room for you guys to look at. The real thing, we haven't changed them. You can see colorful liquids, formula number 5, some weird pills, some I'm talking about. And then down the hall here, we have the autopsy room. Mr. Baker would take it to see his patients and examine them, and then send them to the mortician they're probably taken care of. Now inside that room, it looks like a walk-in cooler. Basically what it is, it's an old school ice box. When this was the kitchen in the old days, they'd ice the food down in there. Mr. Baker, he moves in, and he ices down his dead patients in there for a couple of days if he has to. So if y'all would like to, while we're here, take some photos in the cooler, little family photos, little couples photos, we'll do that for you guys for your Christmas card or whatever. Before we get up, a couple things to remember. The floor is uneven, watch your step. Number 2, the pharmacy is kind of crowded, so we don't all go in there at once and come with the photos. And then we'll go back and forth. But before we go, though, we're going to crowd in the autopsy room for a couple more things. So let's go in. So, guys, come on in. Watch your step.
They also came in here.
Now get way back by the back wall for the lighting. I'm going to come back here, right, guys?